I am now pleased to invite Nwamaka Iguh, the senior lecturer at Nnamdi Azikiwe University, as our second panelist.
Good afternoon. My name is Nwamaka Adaora Iguh. I'm a Nigerian. I'm a senior lecturer at Faculty of Law, Nnamdi Azikiwe University. My topic is legal effects of conflict resolution mechanism in Nimo, a town in Njikoka local government area, Anambra state of Nigeria. I tried to, to look at a particular area. I didn't want to generalize. I took just a town. And incidentally, the town is where I am married to. So I want us to look at the traditional mechanism of conflict resolution in Nimo. And because of my field, I've been from the legal area, I looked at what is the legal effect? What is the legal effect? Looking at the 1999 Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. So we'll look at the conflict resolution in Nimo and the legal effect. So that's my abstract. And I started my introduction by saying that conflict is a dynamic process. It's where you have two or more people, conflict is bound to arise. Yes. So my paper is how are we going to resolve it in the traditional Nigerian society? And when we talk about resolving these conflicts in Nigeria, we are looking at the civil conflict, not the criminal problems. Because crime is defined as offenses against the state. So it is the state that deals with the criminal aspect of problems. So I said traditional conflict resolution mechanism in Nimo. I said we have, yes. So we have various techniques which we all know. We have the mediation, we have the adjudication, the reconciliation, the negotiation, and the cross-examination, whichever one of them. Like if his mediation is private, in interference by a third party, then we have adjudication, then we have reconciliation. But the end result is trying to broker peace amongst the disputants, so that at the end of the day, they will still be friends, business associates, and etc. Okay, now, sorry. Traditional conflict resolution mechanism is Nimo. We have traditional institutes for conflict resolution in Nimo. We'll have to discuss it under the following headings. We have the family level, we have the village level, we have what we call the council level, and the Igwe in council. Now, I made up a drawing vis-a-vis the powers of each of these traditional institutions. Now, under the male setting in Nimo, we have the people that we call the Omoadas or Omoabos. Who are these people? They are the adult female daughters of the community. I am an Omoada in my own community. I am not from Nimo, I'm from another village, another place in Anambra. So I am an Omoada from my own place. Now, then we have what we call the Otu Munyedis. Who are they? They are the female married members of the community. I am a member of Otu Munyedi in Nimo because I am married into Nimo. So looking at the male setting, we have the Umunne. The Umunne, they are the people from the same parents or parents. Same mother, father, same mother or same father. Then we have the Omonna, which are clans, people from the same ancestors, extended family members. Then we have the village meetings, made up of all the clans from the various Umuna. Then we have the village council. At the village level, we have representatives from the various villages. A town is made up, have various villages. So we have representatives from the various villages. People that will represent the various villages at the Iguh in council level. The Iguh in council. At the Iguh in council is made up of the traditional rulers, yes. The chiefs, yes, the Onowus. Then these people that are representative from the villages. So now let's look at the methods engaged in traditional conflict resolution. Like we said, we talked about these various methods which we know. Then I looked at the principles of conflict resolution. One thing that is very clear in Nimo is this. You must have confidence in the people that will look into your dispute before you take it to them. If you don't have confidence in them, why go to them? So you must have confidence. And the mediators should be prepared to know that the truth will come either way and will be faced with the challenges of trying to resolve the dispute. So that's the principle that there are many principles guiding conflict resolution in traditional way. Those who want their conflict resolved must have confidence in the tribunal that will resolve the dispute. The disputants must be ready to submit themselves to the constituted authorities. Trust is the major significance of conflict resolution. Now, the question we normally have is, how would the other opponent know that there will be no partiality? That's the problem. So both disputants and the mediators must be truthful. Yes, sir. So the presence of ancestral forces is a factor. Issue of oath taking. Some may be forced to say the truth because of ancestral forces. The mediator and arbitrator will be well prepared because truth is not static. It is never static. Today he will say this, tomorrow he will say something else. For one of the parties to have come to the tribunal means that the party is ready or has agreed to settle or resolve the dispute. Now let's look at the part of the crux of the topic, the various stages of conflict resolution in Nimo. Now, if there's a problem between daughters, remember I said daughters are called the Umadas. If two Umadas have a problem and they want the problem to be resolved in the traditional way, what would they do? First of all, they will go to the Umadas, the larger Umadas, and they'll present their disputes to the larger Umadas. Now, where the larger Umadas will look at the disputes and use either of the various methods, either mediation, adjudication, negotiation, or whatever means, but they will use either of the means and try to help resolve the dispute. Now, what happens? Where either of the party, either of the Umada feels that this dispute was not resolved well by the Umada, what does she do? She will now go to the Umuna. Remember I said that the Umuna is the larger members of the family. She will take the dispute to the Umuna. And where the Umuna is not able to resolve the dispute, what the person will do is to take the dispute to the village council. Because before you can get to the Iguh in council, your village councillor must be aware. It is when the village councillor could not resolve the dispute, that is when you now go to the Iguh in council. Now, where the village council was not able to resolve the dispute, you now go to the village council, and there are procedures. You will submit the dispute, then you will be invited by the secretary of the Iguh in council. That is where both parties will now present their disputes, and the Iguh in council we'll look at the dispute and resolve the dispute one way or the other. So that is it for, I said, the Umuada, But what happens when it is the female? Okay, if I have a dispute, I am married into Nimo. I am a member of the, I'm not an Umuada, I'm a member of the Ph.D, and I have a dispute. What happens? I don't have to take the dispute to the Umuada because I'm not a member of the Umuada. I don't have to take the dispute to the Umunne because I'm not a member of the Umunne. I'm not related to them. I have to take the dispute to the Ph.Ds, to the people that came in as wives to Nimo. And they will look at the dispute. If they are not able to resolve the dispute, I will now take it to the Umunna. Umunna is the largest clan. The Umunna will look at it. The same thing happens to the village council and finally to the Iguh in council. And it must not go through the whole hog. Assuming the Otumunyedis tried to resolve the dispute and both parties accepted it, it ends. Or the Umuna resolved the dispute and both parties accepted it. The dispute terminates. Okay, then assuming, let's go to the male side, that is a male that had a dispute. They'll go to the Umuna. From the owner to the village council, to the village councillor, to the Iguh in council. So that is the procedure we'll take in resolving disputes in Nimo. Now, the main question, which is the crust of my topic, is the legal effect of conflict resolution mechanism in Nimo town. What is the legal effect? Now, I posed the question, are parties bound by the decisions of these traditional institutions in Nimo? Looking at our constitution, are parties bound? So what happens where the Iguh in council gives a decision and I still feel aggrieved? Am I bound? Remember, traditionally, I am bound because if I don't agree to what the Iguh in council say, I could be ostracized. I could be made not to be part of the community. Yes, I could be prevented from holding various important positions in the community, and this could affect my relatives. But looking at our constitution, which is the supreme law, am I bound? And I looked at the provisions of Section 6 of the 1999 Constitution. And the section says, by the provisions of Section 6(1) of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, which provides that judicial powers of the Federation shall be vested in the courts. Impliedly, it states that parties are not bound by the decisions of these traditional institutions in Nimo unless they agree. If it is agreeable by the council, that is it. But where one party says no, what happens? He will now go to the court. So therefore, where the disputants are not satisfied with the decision of the traditional institution for conflict resolution in Nimo, resort could be made to the regular courts as provided by the Constitution. Now, what will the party, I as the aggrieved party, what do I do? Since I'm still aggrieved, what will I do? We're looking at the legal process. So depending on what the matter is all about, the parties could bring the matter to the customary courts. If it has to do with custom, you go to the customary court, where it has to do with the custom of Nimo, or where it has to do with land dispute. In Nigeria, it is the state high courts. The courts, the state where the land is situated, like cities. It is the state high court that has the power, the jurisdiction to entertain such matters. So assuming the problem has to do with land, I will go to the state high court. Sorry, something is missing. Okay. Okay, I will go to the state high court. Then I looked at, it's not here, I looked at the issue of the issue of being ostracized or banished by a community because you failed to agree to what was said. What does our Constitution have to say in respect of it? We have the provisions of our Constitution, Section 20 and 21, that has, it is against the person's fundamental rights. So these were the issues that I raised, and I said that from the issues adduced above and considering the title of this research, it is clear that in Nimo, decisions and judgment delivered by the various traditional institutions for conflict resolution are not binding on the disputants. As such, do not have the legal effect, because by the provisions of the 1999 Constitution, the power to resolve disputes and enforcement of the judgment lies with the judicial arm of the government and the other law enforcement agencies. Now, I looked at the way forward. I said there is need to reform these traditional institutions in Nimo by giving the educated ones. You find out that at that level, you see people that are not literate. The literate ones are always very busy, you know, in their various fields. So most of the time, these decisions are given. I'm talking about my place by the literate ones. But if the educated ones are encouraged to participate more in the institution with their wealth of knowledge, the issue is, when judgment is given, do I feel that there is justice has been done? Some of these illiterate ones would be swayed by money, you know? So the issue is, do I feel that that justice has been done? If I don't feel that justice has been done, there's no way I can accept the decision. So that is why we have the backing of our Constitution. So this will make disputants to have confidence with these institutions and enhance peaceful coexistence between members of the community, as disputants that eventually go to the regular courts find it difficult to relate well thereafter. Yes, most of the times when we are faced with litigation, the normal court system, the parties normally, they don't relate well thereafter. Thank you so much.